Good morning, folks. A great big howdy to everybody. I'm glad to be with you once more. I have an article from the Rocky Mount Telegram of recent days, and it's all about the invasive species that exist down in the Florida Everglades now. And over recent years, snakes and reptiles have been turned loose in this area from other countries. And for instance, the snake, the Burmese python, and they, needless to say, are becoming a terrific nuisance and danger. And their numbers are prolific, and the game management people in Florida are trying all kinds of ways to rid them of this pest or this threat. And this article is all about that. The byline is from the Holy Land Wildlife Management Area in Florida, which is down near the Everglades. It's after midnight when the windshield fogs up on Thomas Aycock's F-250 pickup. He flashes a low smile as he slowly maneuvers through the sawgrass down dirt roads deep into the Florida Everglades. His windshield just confirmed it. When the dew point drops in the dead of the night, it's prime time for pythons. I catch more pythons when that happens, Aycock explained. It'll make things start moving. Aycock, a contractor with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, has hunted Burmese pythons in the Everglades for 11 years. The retired U.S. Army veteran divides his time between North Carolina, the Florida Panhandle, and Homestead, Florida, where he keeps a recreational vehicle. He always participates in the Florida Python Challenge, held by the Wildlife Commission to encourage people to track down invasive Burmese pythons that thrive in Florida's preserved wetlands. This year's 10-day challenge ended recently. The timing is intentional. Pythons typically hatch from their small leathery eggs each August before wriggling away into the swamp. Aycock loves snakes. He's also passionate about preserving the Everglades and understands the greater ecological issue with these pythons, a prolific apex predator threatening Florida's native snakes and mammals. These pythons are notoriously hard to spot in the wild, and determining their number is difficult, but the United States Geological Survey conservatively estimates tens of thousands have spread from South Florida, with each female laying clutches of 29 to 50 eggs on an average. Their impact has been devastating. In one 2012 study, the USGS Geological Society, that is, found populations of raccoons had declined by 99.3%, possums by 98.9%, and bobcats by 87.5% since the early 2000s. Controlling this voracious snake species, scientists say, is a critical goal. More than 600 hunters participated in this year's challenge, hoping to top last year's total of 209 pythons killed. The grand prize winner, who humanely kills the most, receives $10,000. The competition is designed to raise awareness and has succeeded on that score, attracting celebrities and inspiring reality television shows. But the need for python control is so much bigger. Since 2017, Florida has been paying some 100 contractors to round up yearly in a project shared by the Wildlife Agency and the South Florida Water Management District. Through 2023, more than 18,000 pythons have been removed from the wild, with about 11,000 taken out by contractors like Aycock. So that is phenomenal, and perhaps this is opinionated, but the python shouldn't be there. but early on they were turned loose, and over time have just gotten out of control and out of hand. And the Everglades is a perfect habitat for them. I'd like to move along, and I have a wonderful profile about some friends, some neighbors, uh, a farming family over in the Sandy Cross community. Brent Leggett and his wife Sue have two wonderful sons, Carter and Colin, and they have an outstanding farming operation that's underway, and I'd like to share some of their activity with you this morning. This article, too, comes from the Rocky Mount Telegram. Back to school signals the end of sleeping in for a lot of teenagers, but that's not the case for the Leggett brothers, who have been up and out the door by 6:30 a.m. most days since school got out in May. Colin, 17, and Carter, 13, should get a little extra shut-eye once classes start and or have started here in the Rocky Mount area. Because students don't have to get up with the chickens as farmers do. From May until August, they work full time, Brent Leggett said of his sons, who have been helping out on the family farm since they were first graders. When they get out of school, this is the first place they come. We live together, we work together, it's what we do, we're a true family farm. While their classmates might spend part of their summers in workouts for football, baseball, or soccer, the Leggett brothers have a different definition for field conditioning. Theirs involves driving tractors, a skill both boys learned at age 9. A generation ago in rural eastern North Carolina, student summer jobs in tobacco were as common as dirt. For teens whose parents didn't grow crops, there were plenty of positions to be held on the farm of uncles and cousins, friends and neighbors. Jobs in tobacco helped many students pay for their school clothes, and districts sometimes delayed starting classes or temporarily shortened their school days until the harvest was done. But that was then. Today, despite reports that the number of teens with summer jobs is at the highest level in 15 years, few are finding work on farms. Longtime farmer Lawrence Davenport said that across Pitt County, from Ayden to Grimesland, Pactolus, and Stokes, he doesn't know of a single tobacco held job with a young person. Or that is, with a farm that employs teens. I'm sure there's some somewhere, but I don't know them, Davenport said. It's very rare. While 2 of his 3 children run the family's agricultural operation today, his 5 grandchildren have never worked on a farm. Davenport, whose family stopped growing tobacco 2 years ago, has seen the decline over the last 2 decades. It's a little different because it's so much more mechanized now, he said. I didn't have any local teenagers. They have to be over 16. You can work your own kids, but you can't hire somebody 15 and just put them on a tractor, he says. Davenport started farm work before his teen years, something that he and Brent Leggett have in common. Leggett was 12 when a family friend hired him to drive a tractor in the field and take cured tobacco out of barns in the afternoons, piling it up into burlap sheets to be tied up and taken to market. His dad would give us $5 a barn to take out tobacco, Leggett, age 49, recalled. It didn't matter how long it took us, but we could do it in 45 minutes, so we were making $7 or $8 an hour. I was in the age group when there was still a lot of kids working in it, he said. I think just with changing times, farm consolidations, less farmers, it's not as common as it was. Just realizing you had to come an hour away from Greenville to find a family farm that is teenagers interested in going back to the farm. I think that right there is a telltale sign that agriculture is indeed changing. Statistics from the United States Department of Agriculture tell a similar story, indicating that America has lost much in terms of farms in recent years. The 2022 Census of Agriculture reports 141,733 fewer farms than just 5 years prior. The loss of farm acres from 2017 to 2022 was 20 million. That's acres. The loss of farm acres from 2017 to 2022 was 20 million acres less. Meanwhile, the average age of farmers has increased to 58, up from 53 a decade earlier. According to the census, nearly 1.3 million farmers are age 65 or older, while the number of farmers younger than 35 stands around 300,000. Tobacco farms have seen a steep decline over the last 2 decades, following the American Jobs Creation Act of 2004, which included the Fair and Equitable Tobacco Reform, commonly referred to as the tobacco buyout. The number of tobacco farms has decreased by 95%. According to the University of Kentucky Extension Professor Will Snell, the number of U.S. farms growing tobacco declined from 56,977 farms in 2002 to 2,987 farms in 2022. So this decline has plummeted from 2002 to a recent statistic documenting the year 2022. In the 80s, you could take 50 to 75 acres of tobacco and you could raise a family of 4, send them to school. It was a really good living, Leggett said. Just the costs have gone up so much now. The price we're seeing for the tobacco has gone up some, but has not accelerated as fast. Economics, adversity, markets, whatever it is, some parents may not want their children to come back to the farm. It was different for the Leggetts, whose grandfather grew peanuts, corn, and soybeans in Bertie County when Brent was a boy. While he did not grow up on a farm, Leggett studied crop technology and agribusiness at NC State University. After graduation, he served as a manager for Dale Bone, who had a large farming operation in Nash County. He didn't have any children, Leggett recalled of his late boss. After the tobacco buyout, he said, "If you want to farm, go home and talk to your wife. If she's okay with it, I'll help you farm." Leggett and his wife Sue, who runs the office, grew their farming business into a 3,000-acre operation that includes tobacco, sweet potatoes, peanuts, cotton, soybeans, watermelons, and strawberries. Their 2 sons have been involved since before either of the boys can remember. Sue Leggett is also a Nash County Commissioner running for re-election in District 4 in the upcoming general election. She has a picture of Colin at about 2 weeks old, already on the combine with his dad. By the time the boys were 6 or 7, they were coming to work regularly with their father. We followed them around, Colin recalled. It's not many jobs you get to work with your kids or take your kids to work. He and his younger brother learned to operate tractors, trucks, sprayers, and combines by the time most kids learned to ride a 2-wheel bike. I grew up with it I grew up all my life, Carter said. Both sons are fluent in Spanish and often help translate instructions for workers. Since 2018, the two have run their own sweet corn business, planting up to 5 acres of the crop and selling it at farmers markets and the family's strawberry stand. This is a success story, a wonderful family. The two young men, the children, the sons that is, are carrying on in their parents' footsteps, and they're the kind of people that we need more of. They're wonderful citizens. I'll say indeed they're great Americans. So I appreciate this chance to highlight them this morning, and we look forward to hearing more of them as time goes forward. My time is up now. I've enjoyed being with you. Thank you for tuning in and allowing me to share some ideas. I look forward to being with you next week. Have a good week, and God bless you.